So I want to start this off by saying that the newest Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is a fantastic game. I think everything from the way they've built upon the world in Breath of the Wild to the actual aesthetic of the game, the story so far, I think it's phenomenal. I've put about 30 hours into the game and I've barely even touched any of the main quests. I'm just having a phenomenal time revisiting that world, exploring things, seeing how they've changed from Breath of the Wild. I think for the most part, the scope of this game is just completely incredible. But with that being said, and through the 30 or so hours that I've put into this game, there's definitely some things about it that I'm not too hot about. And in this video, I'm going to be going over what those things are and really why I think they should have been fixed or changed when it comes to this entry in the Zelda series. So let's take a look. The first thing that maybe I'm overstating how annoying I find this, and some of you guys watching this video are probably going to disagree, but I think the way the fuse system works just isn't as intuitive as it could be. Now, for the record, I like the idea of the fuse system, and I like how it works when you add stuff to your weapons. I think it's cool that I can turn a weaker weapon into a stronger weapon by combining different things. What I dislike, especially when it comes to being mid-combat, is having to drop the component that I want to fuse with my weapon and then start fuse and then fuse it to my weaker weapon to make it stronger. I find it kind of just doesn't work as seamless as it should, and I much would have rather preferred almost like a Resident Evil style menu system where I can combine things together from there. I understand part of the game is that you have your Ultra Hand that does all these cool things, and that's probably why it's set up that way, but I find that it just doesn't feel as intuitive as it should, especially when you're in combat and trying to fuse a weapon and there's guys attacking you. Now, the next thing that I dislike, and this is a raging debate that a lot of you guys have had in the community here, but I'm still not personally a huge fan of the fact that your weapons degrade, and it's made even worse by the fact that the weapons that they're scattered throughout the world due to the whole battle that started before the game or happened during the game, it's caused the weapons to kind of rust out. Some of them are just basically junk, and I understand this is to encourage you to fuse better parts to your weapons, which has its own appeal, and I do enjoy it. But I still dislike that I can't get certain weapons, for example, that have unlimited usage. Even the Master Sword, for example, I would have even preferred if, when it runs out of energy, it just is a weaker form of that sword, not that you lose it for like 10 minutes or something. And to me, that it's a kind of an annoying aspect of this, especially when it comes to combat, always running out of weapons because they break from constant usage. And this seems to happen even quicker in this version of Zelda. And I personally think, in my opinion, just based off of the whole Zelda lore, that even the Master Sword should have been something that, like I said, maybe it just becomes weaker once it loses its energy as opposed to you just losing it entirely for 10 minutes. This is something I was hoping Nintendo would have changed in this iteration of the Zelda games, and it's not something that completely kills the combat or the game for me, don't get me wrong, but it is something that I notice it and it definitely annoys me while I'm playing. And it's something that I would have preferred to have at least had some weapons, especially the Master Sword, that have some sort of longevity to them or constant use to them, as opposed to the sparing use that you get with them. Now, my last thing that I want to bring up, and I want to preface this, is that I think the visuals in this game look fantastic, and I also think they look fantastic for being optimized on such weak hardware. And this is less of an issue with this game than it is Nintendo and their approach to gaming in general. I think that the Switch has a lot of fantastic looking games, but it's definitely starting to show that the system's holding some of these games back. Now, I'm not one of those guys who I can't play 60 FPS or it's nothing sort of thing. I think Nintendo's done a good job of making this game operate well, that you don't really notice the 30 FPS while you're playing. What I do notice is that the resolutions just don't keep up, and I understand that this is using a dynamic resolution system when it's docked, and I believe it's using something similar when it's portable, but it's something that at this point in time, I am used to a lot of my games running in full 4K now, and they look crisp, they look great. And this game is, in my opinion, in some cases, some of the awesome aspects of the visuals are held back by the poor resolution that's outputted onto my TV as well. And it looks, in my opinion, actually better portable than it does on the TV, because I tend to notice on my TV more of the defects of the poor resolution. And this ultimately just comes down to Nintendo's approach to hardware, and I've always liked Nintendo. I'm a huge Nintendo fanboy, you have to understand this, but it would have been nice if, when this game came out, it would have coincided with some sort of Switch Pro or something that outputted better visuals. So, there you guys have it. These are my top 3 things that I dislike with the game, and as far as I'm concerned, they're not major things, but they are definitely minor annoyances that hinder a little bit, a tiny bit, to the experience of this game. But overall, I think Tears of the Kingdom so far is a fantastic game, and I personally can't wait to explore it further and get deeper into this world than I already have. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.